Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday. We are live here at Social Media Shows. I am Priscilla Moy, your host for The Hot Seat with Priscilla. As always, I'm so grateful that you are here and that you are watching. Last week, we did have to take a little break, so I know you guys have been a little bit impatient for which guests are going to be sitting here in the hot seat today. But I have to also give a shout out to all of the sponsors that have sponsored this channel, this show, and all of the premieres and everything that we're doing here at Social Media Shows. I am extremely grateful, and I always have to say that we're getting so many inquiries for people wanting to be on an episode of the show. You can always email admin@socialmediashows.com. I'm getting a lot of messages of people inquiring to be on the show and also sending me a lot of their feedback, their comments, some not so nice. And so if you have anything to say, I am solely the TV host for this show. You can take it up with the production team at Social Media Shows. I did want to put that announcement out there because as a host, I am sitting in front of the camera. I do all of the great things on camera to bring live to you in your house. And so I just want to clarify that. And everything else I have to owe to the production team here, and I'm very grateful for them. So if you would like to come take up any type of inquiry or feedback or anything, please email, and they will get back to you shortly. All right, so today we have some amazing guests here doing a bunch of different things around Las Vegas. A lot of people that have been in Las Vegas for a great amount of time, showcasing their talents and doing their work towards the city of Vegas. Of course. And what's amazing is you're going to hear a lot of stories today about how Vegas has grown and how they've spent a lot of time here building up their name and also building the city's name and trying to prepare them for all of the entertainment possibilities and opportunities that the city has to offer. So when we get back, our first guest is a 3-year title holder, and I cannot wait for you guys to meet her. She is a beauty queen of all sorts, and you will have the amazing chance to hear her story right after the break. See you then.
This show is brought to you by, let's not forget, our very own GI Connections. It's a non-profit organization that connects veterans with resources. We also love our musicians. Think about Frank's Tribute, an all-star band. It's a Green Bay-based band with Let Me Be Frank's Productions. Family owned by Frank Hermans, who happens to be a veteran entertainer.
Welcome to Social Media Shows. Have you been watching social media shows recently? Of course you have. We have been live streaming for 4 years across social media platforms. We produce over 70 shows with over 1,000 episodes. In the process, we've helped over 100 creators realize their dreams and start their own show. We give platforms to promote your business. If you are an artist, if you have an event, if you are entrepreneurs, or if you have a story. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and follow us on major social media platforms. And if you have a great idea of a show, join us. Social media shows can help you produce and live stream your own show. Let us help you make your dream become a reality.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Hot Seat with Priscilla. I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and as always, I am bringing you the hottest and the most wanted to see, watch, catch up with here in the city of Las Vegas. As promised, I am going to have an amazing, beautiful beauty queen sitting here in the hot seat today. I promise I won't burn her in it. But everyone, she is an actress, she's a musician, singer, and she obviously is a 3-year title holder for Mrs. Nevada. She has been on Saved by the Bell, and she has been a host. She's been doing all of these amazing things over the span of her super long career. So I cannot wait to hear everything that she has to say, her whole story, and what it is that makes her her. Everyone welcome Ashley Tesoro. Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's so hot in here. I don't want to ruin your beautiful hair. Please take a seat.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Try to
get myself
Yeah,
up here.
everyone's just like, oh no, it's so high. I don't want to So what's so amazing is that I've known of you for some time. I've known your husband for a year or so, but this is the first time we're actually meeting, which I can't wait. And it's so interesting because before you came on, I knew that you're coming on, so I did a lot of research as I do with all of my guests. And so you have a long career that spans beyond, obviously, you being a pageant queen, doing all of these things. And so, you were a musician, you're a singer, you're really great about your faith.
Thank you.
And you're an actress, and you're in Saved by the Bell. You're doing all of these things.
Thank you.
Right? So this started when you were 8. So please tell us a little just about, what your life has been like in entertainment since that age.
Yeah, actually, I could even date it back further to age 6. So I remember my mom put me on my first pageant stage. I won my first major title at 8. I had won a couple of little local titles from 6 to 8, and then at 8 I won Little Miss California, and that was amazing. So I was a really young state title holder for California. I went on to the Little Miss America pageant, and then from there I entered a modeling contest in San Diego, where I'm from, San Diego, California, and there was managers there and agents there, scouts there for Hollywood, and I won the competition. So it was, I think, ages, I want to say 4 or 5 all the way up to teenage years. And I was about 10 at the time, and I won the whole competition. So an agent and a manager was there that basically said, oh, we want to bring you to LA. And, you hear that and you wonder, is this really true?
Right.
And in my situation, it happened to be legitimate. And they were a real agent, a real manager from Hollywood. So I basically begged my mom for a year. She was like, oh, I don't know if, we really want to do this. We're in San Diego. That's in LA. It's a very cruel industry. And for 1 year, I kept saying, Mom, please, I really, really want to do it. So she finally said, okay. She booked the appointment with the manager. And I sat down and met with them. And I immediately started going on auditions. And I actually booked my very first audition at the time, which was an LA Gear shoe commercial. So they said, oh, there's a really big shoe brand in this big commercial. Don't worry. You probably won't get it your first time in, but just see how it goes. And I booked it. And it was amazing and so much fun. And then I went on to do several other commercials and movies, and then ultimately Saved by the Bell, and then Bold and the Beautiful. And, I'm giving you the short cliff notes. It was a lot of, auditions, a lot of perseverance, a lot of acting classes, a lot of rejection. So let's say I booked 20 or 30 jobs, we're talking 100 auditions for those, which are pretty good odds considering some people don't get that opportunity, but still, it was a lot of hard work. And looking back, I'm proud of what I accomplished.
Yeah, I love hearing the general gist, because then I like to pinpoint certain things, even if I already have known it. But I love to ask you certain parts of your career, because it's important to know how certain things created milestones that end up being something else. Because I think the biggest thing is that everyone thinks that, you're sitting here, you're beautiful, you have all of this big resume, you have a Wikipedia page, you have all of these things, but that's a result of years of work.
Oh, of
and people think, oh no, she just got lucky, right? Someone came up to her at the mall and they were like, hey, you should be a model, you should come do it. But it's not, like that. And everything is different. Modeling's different, commercials are different, film's different.
Yes.
Being a pageant queen is completely different.
Yes.
So I would love to touch base. So what really made you love being in pageants? Because I know I only had one experience, and that just was for me. My mom tried when I was little, and I was like, no, which is interesting because here I ended up.
Yes.
But I would love to talk about that first, because obviously that was where it kind of started for you.
Yes.
What do you love about it?
So I think there's so much about it that I love. I love, first of all, we're very articulate, accomplished, beautiful women on the outside, but on the inside, we have good character. All the pageant women that I've met, most of them, you have a few bad apples, but are very, very good women, and they're very accomplished, and they're very successful and driven. So I love the fact that we get to represent for not only the outer beauty, but most importantly, the inner beauty. We do a lot of charity work in the community. We are wonderful mothers and wives, and we're very well-rounded women. And I think sometimes there is a stigma that if you're a beauty queen or a pageant title holder, it's like, oh, well, you're cute or pretty and you know how to walk in a gown and 6-inch heels.
Right.
But there's so much more to it. We do interviewing, before we're able to even walk on the stage and present our outer beauty and our elegance and all that. We actually have to sit with judges that are doctors, lawyers, homemakers, entrepreneurs, designers, just these very successful, intimidating people that we have to sit with and we have to answer their questions.
Right.
And we have to be able to articulate and we have to be able to show our heart and who we are and be authentic and real and all these things while still looking good.
I know.
Okay, I'll add.
Yeah.
And it's a very demanding industry. So you don't just walk up and look cute and get a title. So I love that it's all about the woman that's beautiful inside and out. And it's a challenge, and I always love a challenge.
And you always have to have something that you know that you're going to do afterwards.
Yes.
I did have another pageant queen on here, and I wanted to pinpoint the fact that not only is it harder, because I think everyone in front of the camera, they're going to be judged, but there's no winner, right? No one, there's like, oh, no, I lost, or I took a certain place, so that already adds on a different level. And then after that, the real work begins when you have to actually, like, do what you said that you're going to do
Of course.
for the community.
Of course.
And so what is your... what do you like to give back? What's your main thing that you like to do for your community after you take your title?
So first of all, first and foremost, I'm a Christian person. My husband is a minister. We have had Tesoro Ministry Foundation, our 501c3 nonprofit ministry and charity for the last 20 years. That's like our baby. So, we've done public speaking. We do outreach, giving to people for their basic necessities. We're big believers that we can share our faith, but we also, meet people's needs. So they might be hungry, or they might need a shirt on their back, or they might need a resource to help them through their circumstance, not just their spirit. So we try to tend to both and, connect people with resources and give to them what we can, and through our ministry. And I'm a public speaker, so I have 2 church speaking engagements coming up. I've spoken in multiple conferences. My husband and I have done multiple meetings one-on-one with couples in crisis, families.
Yeah.
We both have our Christian ordination, ministerial counseling ordination. So we've been doing this, like I said, for 20 plus years together. Additionally, I work with multiple charities in the community, Living Grace Homes, First Choice Pregnancy Services. I do outreach with 3 Square, which is a food bank for those that are underprivileged. I've worked with Salvation Army. I've worked with Women's Shelter. I am all about reaching out. I love it when charities reach out to me and say, hey, I know you have many causes already, but would you show up for this appearance? And I'm all about that. Sometimes I can help one time, sometimes I can help multiple times, but whatever I can do. I've worked with probably over 15 charities in the state.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then what I love is that there's so many people that can say all those things that they do like you, but I think what the main important part of it is, why you're so successful in it, is because a lot of people, when they're in a time of great struggle, like their faith is the one thing that kind of brings them back up again. And I think there's some that, they might not be really religious, but then there's always one thing when they're in a time of crisis, whether it's a death, a breakup, financial crisis, like things happening in the world that are completely unfortunate, and there's no really way to fix it, right? Everyone wants to find a way to fix it, but I think that's when everyone kind of becomes in tune with their faith. So I think for you, would you say that that's so inspiring for you to keep going because you see how you can kind of change people's lives with what you do?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, and sometimes it's really like a thankless job, so to speak, because people think, oh, well, you have a ministry, you're a minister, so therefore you should just give of your time no matter what. And they don't think they don't think to go, oh, you have a ministry, thank you for helping me, let me donate, because you use that to help other unfortunate, underprivileged people. Right. So sometimes it's just some people are very gracious and like, oh, we want to help in any way we can, or if we can't, can we volunteer with you or do something? And then some people are just like, oh yeah, thanks for the help. And then they're on their way and they don't even think to pay it forward. Yeah. And so I think that it can be the most rewarding position and just so amazing to see people's lives change. And I think that sometimes it can be challenging where you have to dig in and go, wow, we really just helped that person. And they're not even thinking of paying it forward, even if it's not to our nonprofit, but just to help somebody else. They're kind of like on their merry way thanks for the help, and they're on their merry way. We're like, no, but the whole point is pay it forward in some way. And so I think you have to sometimes, you love the lovely and you love the unlovely, and you help them because they're human. Exactly. Even if they don't really have a great perspective on it, you help them because they're human. Yeah. And you hope that maybe at some point they'll mature and look back and go, oh, wow, I think I need to pay it forward. Yeah. And then the ones that are really appreciative and pay it forward, you're like, wow, I can't believe I impacted that one. And then maybe they went out and impacted like 1,000. Yeah. You just don't know what your influence will do, and then what they will take from that and then go and pay it forward to maybe thousands.
Exactly.
I've seen that happen too.
Yeah,
And
it's amazing.
wow.
Because it also, and then it makes you be like, oh my God, now, like, even though I had a hand in that, like, I want to make sure they're inspiring, like, me to be better now. Because it's not even just about money, guys. Obviously, money can go a long way, but it's also about being out there and being a good person like yourself for the community. I mean, every impact, every time you meet someone, you will have an impact. You know, I'm not saying, like, just strip, like, everyone having access to you, because you have to protect yourself as well. But at the same time, just knowing that, like, you don't know who that person is, what they're going through, what they need,
be kind,
and what they lack.
Volunteer. I mean, it doesn't take money to volunteer. So I agree with you to your point. It's not even about money. It's about just paying it forward by being a good person. Go volunteer. You know, go do something. Give somebody a kind word.
Exactly.
Just be a good person.
Because a lot in this world is so driven by hate, right? Everyone wants to do better than someone else. Everyone wants to be here, but they're forgetting that, you know, you can't have a closed mind when you meet tons of people in the city.
Because in our society, especially in this country, and I love this country, you know, I love representing, and I've been to Mrs. America pageant, and, you know, I love it. I love our country, but people are so privileged here, so many of them, that I think sometimes we forget that there's such a vast world out there with people that would only dream of what we have at our lowest point.
Right.
And that's very just in your face, you know. It's like, wow, on my worst day, there's somebody else out there that has it so much worse.
Exactly.
And I think that we get caught up in competitiveness, and that in our society, it's like, well, there's a pie, and we each have to take our piece of the pie, and you got to do whatever it takes to get it, because it's just one pie. And the way I look at it is, I go, no. I have my own pie.
Exactly.
This is my life and my sphere, and what I'm doing, and I'm living my destiny. And I'm not worried about the other person, because I don't compare myself to other people. I don't worry about what they have versus what I maybe don't have, or vice versa. I just say, this is my life. This is what God has given me as a gift. He has given me everything in my life as a gift, even if I've worked for it. There's people that have worked just as hard as me and they don't have it, because we don't always fall on good fortune or that blessing. And so I just try to compete with me, and I try to be the best that I can be. And I try to inspire other women to do the same thing, because you're not me and I'm not you. I could never do you like you, and you couldn't do me like me, because I'm my own individual, as are you. And so that is my mission in everything that I do, whether I'm preaching, whether I have the crown on my head, whether I'm, you know, delivering food, or I'm volunteering somewhere. My whole goal is to inspire, to help and inspire. And that's my mission.
Yeah, and I love that you pinpointed that, because what a lot of people don't understand is they're so focused on what everyone else is doing, especially with social media nowadays, and being in your face. Like, everyone wants to flaunt the best parts, and like, we're all guilty of it, obviously. But like, you know who's truly successful by whether or not they're out there worrying about everyone else. Because I know it sounds selfish, but you have to know that as long as you're happy, only you know what's going to make you happy. Right? And so that, I love that you said that, because I want to make sure people understand that, is that just because we're sitting here, we do all of these things, maybe that's something within you that you guys need to look at and figure out, well, what do I want? Right? Like, what is my strength? What is going to make me happy, and how can I be inspired, instead of being all like, oh, wait, now I have to do what they're doing, because that's what's going to make me here.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard because sometimes we encounter people that put us down. They don't respect us. They're rude. And so our defense mechanism is like, oh, I have to prove myself. And then all of a sudden we start jockeying and becoming what we hated that somebody did to us. And so that's when we have to self-reflect and go, oh, I really hated when that happened to me, and so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that person, and just, I'm not going to try to strive to prove myself, because living my best life is enough proof. And so, and being happy is even more important than what anybody else thinks.
Because if you already have that issue, you already have proved that you're here, right? Like, as bad as it sounds,
it's better just to be happy. And, you know, and to your point about Instagram, and that is just, I love Instagram as a tool, and as, you know, being able to connect with people that we otherwise wouldn't be able to, and I love sharing our lives, and I love beautiful photos, and I love all that. But I think it's a trap, because, I mean, you know, you have beautiful photos on Instagram. I follow you on Instagram. You're welcome. And you know that you may have 1 to 5 gorgeous pictures, but you may have taken 100 to get there. So, you know, it takes time, effort, work. You know, I don't wake up and go, oh, look at me with the crown and flowing hair and all this. This takes time. You know what I'm saying? When I go drop my kids off at school, it's a little mommy bun and sweatpants and no makeup and just rolling out of bed to get, you know. So I think people compare to the images on Instagram and all these social
Of
media
course.
platforms, but it's a lot of effort, work, lighting, timing, picking the right photo.
Of course. So tell the audience what 3 titles you do hold. that they're
So
aware.
I have held 3 consecutive titles. So I'm a title holder of 1, because you can only be a possessor of 1 title at a time, but for 3 years in a row I've won. So I won Nevada America, Mrs. Nevada America 2020. I was Mrs. Nevada International 2022. So it looks like it skipped a year, but it was actually consecutive because each pageant does their years a little different. But it was back to back. And then Mrs. Nevada Universe 2023.
Okay.
So, and then with the Nevada America title, I went to the Mrs. America pageant. With the Nevada International, I went to International. And I'll go to Universe in July, Mrs. Universe. I was really blessed to make the finals at both America and International, which is, any woman that's competed knows how hard that is. So it was a blessing, and then I'll go to Universe and see if maybe I can make it out of the finals to like the first place. But I believe and feel that I'm a winner no matter what.
Yeah.
Because it's just such hard work.
Exactly.
So just getting up there is so
yeah,
stressful.
that's already just like goodness, the prep,
So-
and then everything that puts into this is just
Yes.
way more than just putting some
Yes.
makeup on and everything like that.
Yes.
Was there one competition that really stood out to you as something where you're just like, out of the ones that you won, where you're like, oh gosh, like I'm so nervous, I don't think I can do it, this one's really hard. Like, was there one in particular?
I think of Mrs. America. It wasn't that I didn't think I could do it. It was just we had worked so hard. We go there for a week to the hotel at the Westgate. We rehearse every single day, like all day long with, breaks, of course. I mean, we're not, in a prison there or something, but they work us very hard. We're doing appearances. We're doing all these things. They rehearse us the day of the show. And they go, okay, now get ready and grab your stuff and come to the show. And you do 2 shows. You have to do a preliminary and see if you make it to finals, and then you do a final. And I made it to the finals, and I just remember at the finals being backstage about to start going, I hope I can get through this. And I was a showgirl for my costume. You have to do a costume. And I had this huge, beautiful, like red costume. And I just was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kneel down, and I'm just going to kneel because I can't really sit in this. So I'm just going to kneel for a second and get a second wind. And I remember I just kneeled there for a minute, and I got that second wind. I was like, okay, girl. I kicked my own butt, and I was like, this is your shot. Get out there.
Exactly.
And I did, and I made finals, and I did really well, and I'm really proud. But it's like a very surreal moment when you walk out on the stage. It was the Elvis stage where he used to perform when he lived at the Westgate and had his residency there. And it's surreal, and you just walk out on that Elvis stage, and you're with all these gorgeous women in this huge sea of people, and it's like your time.
Exactly.
And so it's a little nerve-wracking, but I try to channel my nerves to be more of a powerhouse rather than letting it shrink me back.
Exactly. Because once you're on that stage, now's the time. All the work you've done has got to. It's
Gotta
like
show.
kind of taking the coat off,
Yes.
and you're doing all of those things. So before we go, I want to pinpoint on one last thing. You're a singer as well, and I know that you actually recorded some songs. Is there any, in a gist, any way people can hear you sing? Do you perform? Do you have albums out that they can possibly listen to?
Yeah, so I just actually sang the national anthem for an event for our lieutenant governor. I'm singing at, the 2 women's conferences. Anytime I speak, they usually have me sing as well, so I do quite a bit of singing. I've recorded about 3 different EP albums, which are considered they're short albums. I did a country gospel, and country gospel, and full gospel with Amazing Grace and those types of hymns. And so my music was on iTunes. Okay, sorry, my mind is going on iTunes for quite a while, and now I've repackaged it, and I'm going to put it back on for people to do purchase downloads.
Yeah.
So yes, to answer your question, it will be back up for people to download, but I'm reworking it right now, and so it's not up right now.
Yeah.
But yes, everybody can go on my Instagram, and they can see my appearances and come watch me speak and sing and all that.
Yeah, that's also another thing. I know there's so much with you that I love when there's not enough time, but so that's why I would love to have you back on and talk about your acting. But is there any way people can reach you to either seek your guidance, maybe if they're trying to be a new person of faith, it's a newfound faith, or listen to your music, or maybe even hire you, because I know that you're still doing modeling, acting, all of those things,
all those
right?
Things. Oh, absolutely. So the best way is to DM me. So I'll check all the DM boxes, and on Instagram, that's at Ashley Tesoro. And yeah, you can get a hold of me through that. And if I don't respond, it's because I haven't seen it, and just send me a comment to my photo. Hey, check your DM.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Well, absolutely
Yes.
fantastic interview. I really hope that you had a great time sitting
Of
here on the hot
course.
seat. It's amazing to kind of pack what's all behind what people might see.
Yes.
And especially someone like you probably has so much advice, so much guidance that you can give in all these different aspects, which is
Yes.
amazing because it's not just one thing. So
Yes.
you're a very well-rounded, beautiful woman,
Thank
obviously.
you.
So I
Thank
know
you.
that you're inspiring everyone
Thank
here.
you.
So everyone, Ashley Tesoro, thank you so much for being here. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
And when we come back, we're going to meet more people that have had a great influence on the amazing city of Las Vegas. See you then.
This show is brought to you by our very own Meryl and Merrick comedy show. This fun, comical TV sitcom duo with Social Media Shows Network loves to make you laugh. Mahel Empire Productions. It's a filmmaker based in Las Vegas, Nevada. Founded by Michael and Sonny Mahal and are dedicated to making feature films. Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the hot seat. I hope you guys all fell in love with Ashley, as I know that you would. And like I said, we're going to have a lot of influential people on today's episode. So the next person I have known for some time, I have worked with for a little bit, and it's amazing her story from when she started until where she is now and how much she wants to change the city of Las Vegas and what she has to say about it. Also being a hardworking actor, a voiceover actor, being commercials, being a commercial print model, all of those things. And so I can't wait to have you guys hear her story and her views on what it's like in the industry. So everyone, welcome Kimiko Peterson. Hi. We're both sweaty, so we're like, oh,
All good.
finally, take a seat.
Thank you.
I've been trying to get her on the show for so long, back when it was undiscovered, and finally, I think it's better now that you
Finally in the
are
hot
on this, like,
seat.
exactly,
And
exactly,
It is hot,
and it is
so
hot
I'm
in
feeling
here.
all of
It's
that.
the flames.
So thank you so much for
Of
having me
course,
today.
of course. So first and foremost, like, it's so interesting because when I was reading your bio, you know, I know Kimiko through doing acting work and stuff like that, but I didn't know that you had so much experience in, like, marketing and PR and doing all of those things. So when was the turning point for you when you were doing that you're like, you know what, let's do a full 180?
Right, exactly. So I'm actually born and raised in Las Vegas. So growing up, you know, I always knew I wanted to go into corporate life. And so one of my favorite shows growing up was Who's the Boss? And I wanted to be like Angela. So Angela owned her own advertising agency, and I'm like, I want to be like Angela. So I went to Arizona State University. I was a cheerleader there. I graduated there. And during the time that I was there as a cheerleader, I happened to be in a commercial as a cheerleader for Tostitos. And I got my first taste of commercial life
there it
doing
is.
a commercial, and I thought, wow. And it was a sad commercial. You know, we did many hours, and we got paid golden time, and it was amazing. I was like, this is what it's like. This is amazing. But you know, I had my, you know, my path was set. I was going to be in marketing. So I get out of school, I come back to Vegas, and I'm like, oh boy, okay, what am I going to do? I don't want to work in a casino. I want to start in an ad agency. Well, my first job was in a casino, in the marketing department, of course. But soon I went to an ad agency and kind of started my career there. So really starting from the account services department and doing the ads on the other side of the camera, I'm like, what would it be like to be on in front of the camera? So I'm doing the ad campaigns and helping strategize all the brands and the marketing for all these wonderful brands, and you know, never really thought about it. Thought it would be cool, but you know, never really thought that it was something that I could do. You know, being from Las Vegas.
So fast forward, and I've been an executive director of marketing for years. For over 12 years at a resort, a casino resort. Which is funny because I didn't want to be in marketing in a casino, but living in Las Vegas, there's great opportunities, and I'm really glad that I had that opportunity and that experience because I got to work with a lot of filming production companies that came in, and so I would help them from the PR side of it. And I worked with the Nevada Film Commission and a lot of the production crews that came in to produce movies inside of the casino. So I got a taste of like the production and the filming and the behind the scenes and like helping it market, my brand too. So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. Because it's not completely, it is a 180, but it's not. Because like you go from a corporate world to more of like an independent, artistic world. But nowadays, like with your marketing and your PR, like the ins and outs and behind the scenes, what people look for, how to market yourself, what really can get people to look at you, right? Because Vegas, obviously, if you guys haven't noticed, is huge on marketing. Like the minute you're on the strip, you see things everywhere about who's coming in town, who has a residency, what food, what new restaurant, all of those things. Obviously, there needs people for that. And it's always so fast-paced. And Vegas isn't a city that would be known for fast-paced, but what comes in can come out really, really, really fast. And so to make yourself stay and be a household name is like, how do you do that? Except with marketing, obviously. And you
having that background, So having the background and the knowledge of what brands really want from commercials, commercials for all of the hotels and casinos in Las Vegas, or for a small business, or for medium-sized businesses, knowing what the brand wants out of the talent. I was the one who was hiring the talent at the time, and now I'm the talent that's being hired to deliver and to help these brands grow and show their campaigns. So knowing kind of what the other side, what the marketing department wants from talent, I feel like I have that knowledge of the front of the camera and the behind the camera where I can give my best and know what it is the brand is looking for. So I do a lot of commercials. I've done a lot of national commercials and international commercials.
Yeah, because I think what helps is that especially if you're not someone who's done this from the get-go, we all go through different training. You have training in something different, so you can use that to your leverage. And if you're very confident with who you are, hey, I'm this very commercial, I'm very smart. Obviously, cheerleader doesn't surprise me.
No.
That you are a cheerleader, an actual cheerleader, because she's always just the smile, like she is commercial in a person.
Absolutely.
So, like, with that knowledge, you can try to navigate the industry differently. You're not like this one that was like, oh no, I will die for my art. You're like, no, this is business. You're a very corporate mindset when you
very much. When you are an actor, a voice actor, you are your own business. You are an entrepreneur. You are starting, and every day is a hustle, and you're working to develop your brand, and to help and to get noticed and to get booked. So for me, I feel like it's not starting from the beginning, it's starting from experience. Different kind of experience, but still having that experience from my marketing to be able to help myself market myself and to be talent in front of the camera now. Which is interesting because I always thought I was going to be on the trajectory of climbing the corporate ladder and moving up and becoming vice president and all these things. And, COVID happened, and it gave me a great chance to be able to reinvent myself, start new, to be an entrepreneur, and to do what I really love. This is my passion, and it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm really happy with the choice of choosing myself instead of, well, maybe I should just get another job in corporate America.
So
that would have been the easy thing to do.
How long has it been since you made that switch and you've been doing the commercials and the stuff like that?
Since 2020
so it's very, very, very recent.
Very recent, right? Is when I said, I'm going to go full time, and this is going to be what I'm going to be doing now.
Yeah, and that's kind of around the time that we met, and you never put off the vibe that, you're a beginner. That's another thing that I want to pinpoint is what has your experience like? Because her and I kind of bond through our experiences on sets and our views, and Vegas is a small town, so we feel these energies, we see these energies, and you can tell kind of the people who have not had a lot of experience, but may have been doing it longer, and then you just know how to hold yourself. So what has it been like for you? What are things that you see that you can kind of give people a little insight on what it's actually like doing the job?
You know, it's a lot of what kind of creating, I've manifested a lot in this career. I wrote an article in 2018.
And I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah, I wrote this article in Vegas Inc. And it was really about bringing the film industry and having tax credits and an incentive in Nevada to be able to bring huge motion pictures here, big feature films here, large commercial, national commercials here. We do have a wonderful Nevada Film Commission where there is tax credits here up to, I believe it's $10 million for a big production. However, I also work in Arizona. I have an agent in Arizona. And right now, Arizona just got a tax incentive credit for $75 million, up to $125 million for productions by 2025. So where we're seeing a lot of feature films and a lot of big productions going to Georgia and New Mexico. Now they're going to be going to Arizona. Why can't we bring that here?
Right.
Mark Wahlberg just, moved here, and he's talking about Hollywood 2.0. Well, that's exactly what I was talking about in the article in 2018, where, we need to start to bring diversification, bringing film and talent here in Las Vegas. We have a lot of great local talent here thriving in this community, but we're having to go to LA and to Phoenix and to Atlanta to work, where if we're here, this is our city that we love. We have so much thriving talent, from talent and cast, crew. There's so much work, and even from production rentals, and there's so much that can be done. And I think that I've worked with the students at UNLV Film School, and they're amazing, and they're having to go out of Nevada too, because the work is outside of Nevada. So if we can start to bring that here locally, we're going to help increase, the diversification of what we have here. I mean, between all of the sports and medical tourism and tech that's moving here.
I know.
Let's bring film.
Exactly. It's so interesting because they're coming, but because there's so much happening here, I'm wondering if it's because there's so much that it becomes so difficult. Because I know that one thing that we had here was the Grammys back in 2022, but they never want it back here again because there's so much going on that it caused so much traffic. And Vegas isn't big enough where you can spread everything out. Everything has to happen on the Strip or it happens downtown. And so it's disappointing because I'm just like, you would think it's amazing because this is a city that people love to visit. It's a city that they can profit from and benefit from. It's not as expensive as other cities, but they're like, oh my God, it's too much. It's too much. So, but it's a good thing at the same time. I think, people have to give Vegas a chance, and they're not, right? And we talked about this, and when we're talking about great talent sitting here, is that there is, but because it's so small, there are always the few things that ruin it that might scar so many people to not come back. They'll come here for a couple scenes, spend 2-3 days, use us for background, ship people out to be principal roles from LA or wherever, and then we're kind of left just kind of taking everything we can get, which is fine, but I don't think we've been given that opportunity yet. Like what you're saying, the one where they're like, no, we want to cast, let's go to Vegas first, cast principals from Vegas, and then search elsewhere to bring them here, right?
And that's where the tax credit incentives will come into play, because having those tax incentives, the production companies need to use local talent, local hotels. They need to eat here, they need to rent the equipment here, they need to hire the team here. So that's going to help them, that's going to help the community, that's going to help tourism, that's going to help a lot of things. And you were talking about how, sometimes there's, they come in and they leave right away. Well, there's so many places to film, locations around Nevada. Did you know that Hoover Dam is the most filmed location? You would think the Strip, you would think the Las Vegas sign, the famous Las Vegas sign, but Hoover Dam is the most popular place to film.
Yeah, everything's accessible here. That's why I love living here. Is that you don't have to go far, an hour. You can go to the mountains, depending on what type of mountains. We got Mount Charleston, we have Valley of Fire. Two completely different look. You got a city vibe. You have more of the downtown, dirtier vibe, but then you have desert, right? Yeah. And so it's so interesting. I don't get why. I think they're starting to. But when we tell people, well, we love being in Vegas, why? And I'm just like, fine, then don't come here. We'll take the job. Yeah, please don't come here. But I'm really hoping that the little that we're having, it's kind of building. So I think since I've moved here, it's been
Gradually.
like 5 years ago. Like I wasn't here 5 years ago, but I don't think all the things that are here now regarding film, modeling, television, commercial, all of those things, I don't think were here, even fashion. And then I arrived and I said, we're going to change it. And then you were like, I'm not going to go into it. And then we like connected on the set. Like, what is going on? There's no smooth sailing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that we're in a perfect position right now because we have so much experience. You know, we're not at the top of our game. We're still growing. We're still learning. But we have all of that experience behind us now to be able to be in the right place at the right time when all of those huge productions come and, you know, they're going to select talent. Well, there's even more agencies now that are coming to Vegas, which I think is interesting. Don't you see? There's so many more, you know, talent agencies that are coming to Vegas. But I think, you know, who's here right now, there's a lot of great talent.
Because you'll know, because then they'll quit soon, or they just have already built a reputation that's not as credible. But it's so interesting because Vegas is so different. If you guys plan on moving here, which you should, just know that it doesn't operate the same way as the normal industry would. So these agencies, and I know I want to touch on that with you because I know that you have, you know, you're kind of in charge of one, but we'll talk about that. But when they come here, they treat it like a big city, very cutthroat. New York, LA, this is what's going on in Milan, Paris. And it's fine, we get it, but it doesn't work here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I hate to call it that, but we're kind of like the island of misfit toys. Like, you're going to find so much stuff here. You're not going to find what you're looking for, but you're going to find things that are better. And if you're not open to it, then you can get out. But when they come here, it's funny because I'll have meetings with them, already knowing what it's going to be like, but it's interesting because it's laughable. And I told Kimiko about it. Like exclusive agencies and people that look for a certain thing thinking that they will trump the city of Las Vegas, that they have done in bigger ones, it's not going to happen. And so, you know, I think we're both sitting here and we're telling you guys, like, now that's why I think we love it, because we're both not ideal for anything. Because another one to pinpoint is being Asian. We're not, and so people don't know where to put us in big cities, and if they really want an Asian, they can find one off the street that kind of fits more of their mold. We don't have that much here, so you have to kind of make your name really quickly. And so for you, you are kind of like a talent inquisitor, right, of an agency?
You know, I've helped out with different agencies, and, you know, it's for Vegas to be exclusive in Vegas with one agency, I think, you know, you're dead in the water. You know, with us, I think it's better to have multiple agencies and multiple talent representations in Las Vegas because it is it's small. It's not an LA. It's not a Phoenix. So there is that opportunity to be able to get work from a lot of different agencies. I think, you know, if you are in LA or Phoenix or, you know, New Mexico, you would have one agent and a manager. That makes perfect sense. Here, you know, I think a lot of agencies come to Las Vegas and they're like, okay, we're going to have you and you're going to be exclusive. It's not going to work. That's going to be really tough because the talent here, there's just not enough to sustain that right now. Yeah,
and they just want to claim what they can because they know there's good people here, but they want to take that for themselves. And they think that because Vegas, they don't think we have experience. They think we're naive enough to think that that's the route to go because they're trying to sell a dream. Right. And so when you're on the other end of in an agency, what do you notice the most about what those above you would kind of look for that you kind of want to change the game?
I think a lot of it, you know, and you've seen a lot of headshots too. So a lot is in the headshots that you're providing. It's, do you believe in yourself? Can you see, you know, the happiness and can you see the story that someone is giving in their eyes and in their move? And, you know, if you talk to them in person or on Zoom, what are they bringing to you? You know, it's that first initial meeting or seeing a photo. What is it about them? They have to give off some sort of a positive energy, right? I mean, we talk about positive energy all the time. I think you can see that in someone. You know, when you come into a room and if you are closed off, people are going to notice that. I think for anyone, showing that you are open and you're flexible and, you know, you're not closed off to opportunities. I think that is what is going to make or break, you know, you getting cast and being in a film or, you know, a commercial or an agency. So I think it's sort of the vibe that you give off. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's definitely, and you know, of course, there's multiple roles, and if the role is like headhunter, you know,
Right.
hardcore boss babe, that's okay. But that's not, you know, that's not how you should represent yourself all the time, because
Exactly.
that's not who you are all
Yeah.
the time. So
Yeah, exactly.
right?
But then it's so bad because like there can be all those amazing things, but there's also the aspect of, okay, like on paper, like it looks great. They go through all the pictures, and I don't know if this happened to you, but then they're just like, okay, now let's look at her body type. How tall is she? You know, like how old is she? You know, like what's
Yeah.
her dimensions? What's her size? And then that becomes a determining factor, even down your skin tone, your eye
Absolutely.
shape. Because
Yeah.
I think I want to ask you, like being Asian.
Mhm.
People don't see us as needed in abundance. They need one token, and that's all they have. But when there's a lot of them, they would rather have a lot of a certain ethnicity, and then they just take a couple, but then they have to meet all the criteria because then there's no use. What has it been like for you? Because you're Japanese, correct?
Yeah, I'm half Japanese, half Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
And I, you know, honestly, right now, today's March 1st, and it's International Women's History Month.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, we are seeing in our time that Michelle Yeoh is having this moment.
Yes.
And right now, there is a lot of representation for Asian women right now in this industry, and I'm here for it. Like, it is so, you know, for me, it's kind of interesting because I'm half and half. So sometimes if they're looking for ethnically ambiguous, okay, well, maybe I fit that. You know, I'm not a fashion or runway model. I'm commercial, I'm print, so my height usually doesn't hinder me too much. Being 5'3", you know, I'm petite, so you know, I'm not super tall. It was funny. I was just in a commercial the other day, and they put me, which it was so funny because he was 6'3" and I was 5'3", and I'm like, did they not see how tall he was when they put him with me? But it worked out because we were sitting. So I just think it's kind of funny. You know, I think for me, it being half and half, sometimes I can try to fit into that. I don't always fit into an Asian. If they're looking for an Asian, I don't always fit that. If they're looking for a Caucasian, I don't fit that either. So sometimes I'm kind of in an odd space too, where I just don't fit in. But, you know, I give it my all, and I go for most things. And sometimes it's not until they see you or meet you, and then they're like, well,
there's
we
something.
didn't
We need
know,
to stop
actually,
closing our brains.
We do want her, you know,
exactly.
so she's actually going to fit. We didn't think that we wanted her, but she's going to fit perfectly for our brand or for our movie, for our TV show.
Yeah, and I think what you're pinpointing is basically Asians have this tenacity and this hard work ethic that we need. Whenever we're given an opportunity, we're going to show you that we are worthy of that opportunity. So we thank people like Michelle Yeoh. She had an opportunity and she took that and she kept going, and now she's here as the first one. She's
it's so great to see, and the Oscars are coming up. And she is. I mean, I'm rooting for her. Obviously, and I think she's gonna win that Oscar.
I know.
What a
I
moment
really hope
that's
so.
gonna be, you know, for all of us.
Exactly, because I always tell people in film, Asians very rarely are even given a role that would be nominated.
That's right.
Only certain films, certain genres would be even eligible to be nominated to win an Academy Award. So to get a role that could, and then being able to be like, haha. Like everyone, you know, arguing about race all the time, and now it's a time for Asians, and I think that's always kind of what I wanted to break through, is showing that Asians can do it just as well, if not harder.
Absolutely.
But yes. So before we go, please tell the audience what you're working on now and how they can get in contact with you via getting you to submit for a job, like what agencies, like things like that, so people can keep an eye out.
So right now, I am kind of all over the place. You know, I'm working on voice acting, and I'm on voices.com, and I'm obviously on casting networks and Actors Access, and you can find me at LV Sun Devil on Instagram, and you can see all of the great things that I'm up to there.
Yeah.
And hopefully working with you soon.
Oh, of course, we already did. We just did Mark Wahl race together. She took my paparazzi photo, which I will be releasing eventually when this movie comes out to me and Marky Mark. But anyway, not to name names, don't sue us. Thank you. So, but I want to ask this question. I kind of asked, if I get around to it, like, what is the biggest misconception people might have of you when they meet you in life in general? And it's a big thing to think about. It's a big question.
It is. And, you know, it's been kind of interesting to go from, like we were talking about, from marketing, and now I'm an actress and doing a lot of other things as well. But to introduce myself as, oh, what do you do? Well, I'm an actress.
Yeah.
And that's a big step for me to
Yeah.
say that and to put it out there. And I think that's the one thing, is the misconception of like, oh, what have I seen you in?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh boy,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
not, you know, all the acting is.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, you know,
Yeah, it's
learning.
just that,
It's a learning
that
component.
type of thing.
But what I want to say is that starting in my 40s in this industry, you know, Michelle Yeoh is now, you know, winning awards in her 60s. So there's no timeline.
Oh, yeah.
And just always do your best. And if you want to change and you want to do something different, you can.
Of course.
for it.
Just go for it. But
Just
you
go
got to go
for it.
for it all the way, though.
Go for it.
All
And
the
don't
way.
stop.
Exactly.
And don't quit.
Exactly. Well, everyone, Kimiko Peterson, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
being on the show. I hope that we have you back in the future
Absolutely.
so you can update all of us on what it is that you are working on, and kind of, if new things develop with film, love to have you here to talk about how you're manifesting it for all of us. But everyone, Kimiko Peterson, please, please, please reach out to her on social media. Check out what she's doing. I'm sure you'll be able to see all of her commercials and her movies that are out now, and then all of those that are coming. So everyone, a round of applause for Kimiko. And then when we come back, obviously, I'm going to say my amazing goodbyes and some news, you know. See you after the break.
This show is brought to you by... This show is also brought to you by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, located on Silverado Ranch, here in Henderson, Nevada. Restore, relax, and refresh. Turn your power on with Broken Bulb Productions, owned by Russell Rapp, an independent filmmaker based out of New Jersey.
Social Media Shows is a production company based here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We offer these services. We've been streaming shows live in real time for over 4 years on major social media platforms, and also on our website socialmediashows.com. And we are now on Roku TV. We welcome you to have your own show on our TV network. Call us 651-955-8743 or email us at admin@socialmediashows.com.
Hi guys, that was it today for today's show for the Hot Seat with Priscilla. Please, please, please like, share, subscribe. I sound like a YouTuber, but whatever. We all know the drill. Comment, refer us to other people. We are up for being hired for red carpets, movie premieres, film festivals, all of the above. Everyone, please always make sure that you know to jot down the email address, admin@socialmediashows.com, if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I did say this in the beginning of the show, and I do want to pinpoint it, that for some reason, all of the people that are watching obviously love me, and they love Maria, and they love the team, obviously, because we are the hot seat. However, for some reason, people like to slide into my DMs and say otherwise, and it is not appreciated. I know everyone thinks that I am in charge of everything here: lighting, sound, production, editing, when things come out, when things don't come out, when things are scheduled, who is scheduled. I don't control those things. And even though if I did, please be kind. That is going to be the theme of today's episode. We did talk about that with Ashley. It goes a long way, and just because I am someone that's more in the public eye does not mean I am able to have access from all of the people around telling me how this show is ruining my reputation. Yes, that's what people have said to me, that my videos don't deserve a like, blah, 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 I wouldn't get hired, that it's so bad, can I give you feedback, why does it look like this, why does it look like CRAP? Listen to me, I don't care. I'll be honest with you. But if you still have that same ballsy energy, keep that energy that you have when you like to talk to me and take it up with the production team here. And I highly doubt you will. But I'm going to open that hand to you if you would like to do that. Please go do that and take it up with them and see how they respond to you. If you like this, thank you so much. If you are a supporter, I know who the real supporters are, and I know who obviously believes in me and wants to support a great business that I'm also supporting. So I see you, I appreciate you, and this is your shout out. So please, please, please keep rooting for us, keep sharing videos, and if you want to sponsor, we are open for that as well. Now, if you do want to sit here in the hot seat, please email your bio to admin@socialmediashows.com. That email is going to be golden, so make sure it's engraved in your brain, and then we will go with the production team. Again, don't come at me. We'll decide whether or not you're going to sit here in the hot seat. Now, even though people think it's so low budget and low quality, this is a very, very, very important seat because you get to sit with me. So not all the people get to sit there. I do have some little say, but other than that, please stop being hateful on social media. Please stop cyberbullying. Please stop coming to me in person, in public, telling me how shitty of a job I'm doing, because I know I'm not. So if you're watching, whether you like it or not, you're still watching, giving us views. Please continue to see me every week on the Hot Seat live Wednesday at 3 p.m. And watch, hate, like, you're still watching, but we all know that you're keeping tabs. So I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and this is the Hot Seat, and I will see you next week, and keep your comments to yourself. Bye.